AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan. A personal health insurance advisor is waiting for your call.
You promised me the world. Is this what you had in mind?
Help EarthShare and its members restore balance to the world. Visit earthshare.org and see what you can do. EarthShare, one environment, one simple way to care for it.
Becker's got a killer dinner guest.
She just tried to stab her husband.
Next, Becker.
You know, I don't think we need these knives. Pass them on down.
Tonight at 9 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Becker's got a killer dinner guest. Next, Becker.
I don't think we need these knives. Pass them on down.
Tonight at 9 Eastern. This is Chicago's very own WGN News at Noon.
Yet more deadly violence in the city of Chicago. This time a triple murder in the Little Village neighborhood. 3 people found shot to death in this house on South Kildare. One neighbor calls this block a gang war zone. Good afternoon. I'm Tom Negavan.
And I'm Micah Mater. Police holding a news conference at the scene just a short time ago. And WGN's Robert Jordan is live in the 2800 block of South Kildare with more. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Micah and Tom. You know, police told us that they responded to a well-being check at that address at about 7:30 this morning and found the door open and discovered the 3 bodies. And we then talked to neighbors who told us that this is, in fact, a troubled neighborhood with quite a bit of gang activity and shootings and violence. But police immediately began to try and allay some of their fears by saying that this was an isolated incident and had nothing to do with the rest of the residents on the block.
We believe that this is a random, targeted act of violence. It appears that the victims and the offenders were associated. At this time, we don't believe that this was associated to anything else in the community.
Police say that the 2 males and 1 female victims were sought out by the killers, that they knew each other. Therefore, police are trying to calm the nerves of neighbors who are concerned about all of the violent activities in this neighborhood.
There was no forced entry in the back door, so that's an indicator that perhaps the victim and the offenders knew each other. Secondly, the fact that there was a money counter indicates that there could have been drug activity in the location.
But residents are still concerned about all of the gangs which roam the streets causing problems for others. One woman said many young kids are so intimidated that they live with the misconception that the gang life is the only way to go.
That's how they feel, because I have a little brother who's involved in a gang, and he tells me it's safer to be in one than not to be in one, because at least you have somebody that has your back, and that's how they feel. They feel safe. They feel like they got a real family, and it's not about that. These people don't have love in their homes, so they find it in the streets. And all they could do is run around, get shot, write on walls. And if you circle the neighborhood, there's graffiti everywhere, on schools, libraries, even churches. These kids don't have no respect.
A neighborhood priest knows the gang members well and the intimidation that they can exert.
Because of the pressure that gangs have on our kids, it is very difficult for them many times to say no. So that's why I invite them to contact their schools, their churches. We have many different programs for them so we can protect them. And especially I ask all the gang members, because I know many of them, and I know they are good guys. They are making wrong decisions.
And police say that they are attempting to crack down on the gangs in the area by making this a high crime priority. As for the triple homicide, police say that they feel it is gang related because they did find the drug paraphernalia inside and the money counting machine. They also said that they felt that this was an isolated incident and was not related to any of the other multiple murders which have occurred in the area recently. Live from Little Village, Robert Jordan, WGN News.
Bob, thanks very much. A prominent lawyer and a young couple are among 4 people killed in an overnight accident in northwest Indiana. The crash happened just after 10 o'clock last night near the border of Merrillville and Crown Point. WGN's Marcella Raymond is live from the scene with the latest details for us this noon hour. Hi, Marcella.
Tom, good afternoon. Merrillville police say there were 2 things that caused this crash. One was high rate of speed, and the second one was failure to stop at a stop sign. And because of that, 4 people people are dead, including a well-respected Merrillville attorney and a young couple in their 20s, hopeful about the future.
He was such a wonderful person, and I'm going to miss him not just as a colleague, but as a friend.
53-year-old Gary Weiss, a lover of all things White Sox, was killed while on his way home from bowling. He was a prominent defense attorney in Merrillville. His wife, the law firm's office manager. They have 2 teenage children.
He just had this sense of humor and this charisma about him that when he walked into a room, everybody smiled. And we always joked that his second calling would have been to be a stand-up comedian and not a lawyer.
Also killed were 25-year-old Amy Bartlemay and her boyfriend, 26-year-old Stephen Huff. Amy was the mother of a 3-year-old. Stephen told her brother he wanted to marry her. They were killed on their way home, too. Police say the 30-year-old unidentified driver of a Jeep Cherokee failed to stop at the intersection of 101st Avenue and Randolph Street. Detectives believe he was speeding. Neighbors say that's not unusual on this 2-lane road.
Very bad speeding here. In the last 2 weeks, there's a county sheriff and sits here, and he doesn't even have time to park. He's got another one. I mean, every 10 minutes, he's got another one.
Stephen Huff was driving a Blazer on Randolph and collided with the Jeep. Gary Weiss was heading in the opposite direction in his Mustang. He was on Randolph as well and collided with the Jeep head-on. 4 lives gone in a split second.
We are very much a family business and, lost the head of our family.
And Chris Schmidgall says that firm will continue the way Gary would have wanted it to. In the meantime, the Lake County coroner is performing autopsies today on the 4 victims and also toxicology reports to see if drugs or alcohol also played a role in this crash. I'm live in Merrillville. Marcella Raymond, WGN News.
Gary firefighter Carlton Davis has been found guilty of running a dogfighting operation out of his home. There were 22 charges in all. As Marcella reported just moments ago, the well-known attorney killed in last night's car crash. Gary Weiss was Davis's lawyer. 2 years ago, police raided the firefighter's home and found 6 dead pit bulls. There were 15 other dogs still alive but wounded and emaciated. Police also discovered a bloodied fighting ring, treadmills fitted with leashes, and training schedules. Just 1 day before that deadly car crash, attorney Gary Weiss said an appeal in the case was likely.
Chicago police officer Anthony Abate in court today on charges he beat a bartender more than a year ago, but his attorney didn't show up and the case was continued until May 12th. The judge also issued a gag order. The beating was caught on this unforgettable surveillance tape at a Northwest Side bar. On March 11th, an expected plea deal fell through. Abate's lawyer says he will continue negotiations, which means this case could go to trial. Oak Forest police found a stockpile of fake Nike shoes while searching a storage facility last week. 15,000 pairs of counterfeit shoes were in boxes and ready to be sold. Investigators say it's possibly the largest bust of counterfeit shoes in the Midwest. No one is in custody.
The father who landed his private plane on a suburban golf course so his son could get to a tennis lesson on time is now charged with reckless conduct and endangering the life or health of a child. Yesterday, Robert Cadera turned himself in to Lincolnshire police and posted $1,000 bail. On March 1st, Cadera flew his Piper Clipper to Cranes Landing Golf Course in Lincolnshire. Nearby motorists called police, who found Cadera and his 14-year-old son, tennis rackets in hand, walking to the Lincolnshire club across the street. He'll be back in court on May 13th. A father in Gary, Indiana, saved his family from a fire last night. Albert Easel says he smelled smoke after his wife and 4 kids fell asleep. He went to the basement door and saw flames. Easel woke up his wife and kids and quickly got them out of the house. No one was seriously hurt.
Well, tomorrow's May Day, and among other things, that means another round of immigration rallies across the nation. Last year, millions of people filled the nation's streets, including here in Chicago, all in hopes of bringing attention to an ongoing battle for immigration reform. This year's rallies will once again span the country, but they're not expected to be the same size as previous years. Still, organizers are hoping this year's rallies will revive the immigration reform debate during the election year.
More than 200 cities are coming out to march tomorrow. But remember, we haven't stopped marching. We've been in every primary. We're in record numbers voting. Don't try to count us just by who's marching. We haven't stopped marching. We're in the millions, and this is the majority of the United States.
Tomorrow's march begins in Union Park at noon, and the immigration rally will follow at 1:30 in Federal Plaza. Supporters of an illegal immigrant staying in a Northwest Side church say her days of sanctuary may be over. Flora Crisostomo has been living at Adalberto Church in Humboldt Park since January. She defied an immigration department order to return to her native Mexico. Now, the church says Homeland Security officials plan to have her arrested. Crisostomo has been spending her time at the church lobbying by phone and email to win rights for millions of illegal immigrants.
Well, there is another bribery claim at the corruption trial of Tony Rezko, and it involves Governor Blagojevich's home on Chicago's North Side. Tomorrow, prosecutors plan to call Ali Atta, the former head of the Illinois Finance Authority. They say he will testify that remodelers once threatened to slap a lien on the home. But Atta delivered a $25,000 cash bribe to Rezko, and Rezko used the money to pay the remodelers. The governor's staff tells us Blagojevich paid the remodelers with his own money. He is not charged with any wrongdoing. The Democratic presidential candidates continue their swings through the state of Indiana, and the Obama campaign works hard to get back on track following the controversy involving the senator's former pastor.
The state's latest efforts to buy Wrigley Field may not involve using tax dollars.
And fresh from his controversial meeting with Hamas, former President Jimmy Carter is here. He'll join us live in this studio coming up. Hi there, Tom.
Well, hello, Tom. Yesterday was the coldest April 29th in 52 years, but a huge storm. Look at this thing. It's ramping up through the center of the country, and it's going to warm us up. But could it bring us some thunderstorms as well? And what impact will it have on the weekend? We have the full forecast coming up.
You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News with Micah Mater, Tom Negovin, and Tom Skilling. This is Chicago's very own WGN News at noon.
This is Jeff Norman. He doesn't get health insurance from an employer, so he's been buying it himself for years. He's healthy, so he wonders why his rates keep going up. Liz Sloan wants health insurance but doesn't think she can afford it. We're Assurant Health, and we've been customizing plans to meet the needs of individuals for over 110 years. For instance, with our 2-year rate guarantee and healthy discount, Jeff will get 15% off his rate and lock in that rate for 2 years. For Liz, we offer plans that allow people like her to pay for only the benefits they need, saving them money. In fact, Liz could get up to $2 million of coverage for less than $100 per month. Unlike other health insurance companies that focus on corporations and treat everyone the same, Assurant Health is there for the individual. So if you need health insurance, call the number on your screen, visit our website, or contact your local agent.
Call now to find out how you can save hundreds of dollars a year on your health insurance. Call 1-800-547-1353.
So stress really affects your blood sugar. I'm an office temp in a law firm downtown. The work is piling up and you're on the computer and you're trying to get files out. You do forget to eat. It gets tough, but that's where the meter comes in.
There are a lot of things in life that can seem complicated. The One Touch Ultra Mini is simple. It gives you a number, it's small, and comes in 4 fun colors. And right now, the One Touch Ultra Mini is available at no charge. See if you qualify by calling 1-888-881-5088.
It helps you out. You can check yourself. It's right there at the desk. Works really fast. You have your results in 5 seconds.
Call 1-888-881-5088 to see if you qualify. Tell them you want the one to match your shoes, or one to match your phone, or whatever. More power to you. Call now to see if you qualify for the One Touch Ultra Mini.
A new State Department report has highlighted countries that are a threat to U.S. security. Venezuela and Iran are among the nations mentioned. The report suggests Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez is befriending terror states like Iran and Cuba and is not cooperating with U.S. anti-terror efforts. As far as Iran, the report says it is the most active state sponsor of terrorism. The State Department also talked about al-Qaeda, saying Iraq is the center of the war on terror. Indiana's primary next Tuesday, 6 days away.
But many people have already voted. About 90,000 cast their ballots early, like these voters here in Fort Wayne. State doesn't track early votes to determine how many people voted in each party, but county election officials say most requests for absentee ballots came from Democrats. Presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton campaigning in Indiana today. Senator toured a sheet metal plant in South Bend, telling workers there that President Bush needs to get tough with the oil companies to combat the rising price of gasoline. Clinton says as president, she would take away oil companies' tax subsidies and make them pay the gas tax this summer. Polls show she and Barack Obama are locked in a tight race in Indiana.
And Senator Barack Obama gives his strongest reaction yet, denouncing the controversial comments made by his former pastor. The Democratic presidential candidate says he is outraged over what Reverend Jeremiah Wright said in Washington Monday. Wright has been defending remarks from his sermons that have been called unpatriotic. On Monday, Wright was unapologetic, saying the remarks were taken out of context. Obama previously only denounced the remarks, but yesterday also moved to distance himself from Wright completely.
If Reverend Wright thinks that that's political posturing, as he put it, then he doesn't know me very well. And based on his remarks yesterday, well, I may not know him as well as I thought either.
Obama said Wright disrespected him by saying he was politically posturing. Wright has not responded to Obama's latest comments. Likely Republican nominee for president, Senator John McCain, has made it very clear he doesn't believe Reverend Wright reflects the views of Senator Obama. Today, McCain is campaigning in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
A college campus in Florida remains on lockdown today, and final exams have been canceled as police look for a suspect in a shooting there overnight. That shooting happened at Florida Atlantic University in Boca Raton. Police say a fight broke out during a party at that campus in an apartment, and someone started shooting. One person was grazed by a bullet. The university immediately activated the new emergency warning system, and officials say it seemed to work.
That system has been in place for about 60 days. Hasn't yet been fully tested, and yet we were very pleased that not only did the siren sound around campus, but also the public address message indicating that there was an emergency on campus, Boca Raton. People should move indoors and to shelter and safety.
And police have released a picture of someone they're calling a person of interest in that shooting. Firefighters battled a 5-alarm fire at a Philadelphia church. Smoke clouds can be seen for miles from the Prince of Peace Baptist Church. That's in North Philadelphia. Now, the fire began this morning. No injuries have been reported, but the fire has caused a traffic jam on a nearby interstate.
Flames shot into the air from the roof of a nightclub at the famed corner of Hollywood and Vine in Los Angeles. Officials say the fire broke out around 5 o'clock this morning. The blaze filled the area with choking smoke. An arson investigation is now underway. The corner of Hollywood and Vine was a mecca for stars during Hollywood's golden era. Showbiz historians call it the world's most famous intersection. Texas officials say they're looking at the possible sexual abuse of some young boys taken from the ranch of a polygamous sect. The State Child Protective Services Division says it's looking into possible sexual abuse of boys based on interviews and journal entries they've found. The head of the Department of Family and Protective Services has also told lawmakers that 41 children have evidence of broken bones. Texas authorities raided the group's retreat on April 3rd and took hundreds of children into protective custody.
Well, James Woodward finally tasted freedom after serving 27 years in a Texas prison for a crime he didn't commit. He was given a life sentence in 1981 after being wrongly convicted of raping and murdering his girlfriend. DNA evidence finally cleared him this year. Woodward is the nation's longest-serving inmate to be freed as a result of genetic testing.
The Olympic torch back on Chinese soil this noon after a rocky 20-nation trip. The flame arrived in Hong Kong this morning. A small group of protesters tried to disrupt the ceremony, but police would not allow that. China has deported at least 7 people it sees as a threat to the Olympic torch relay. The torch will spend the next 100 days making its way around China before finding its way to Beijing for this summer's Olympic Games.
Residents of Suffolk, Virginia are being given 10 minutes today to check on their tornado-damaged homes. 200 people were hurt Monday when 6 twisters swept through the southeastern part of that state. Governor Tim Kaine declared a state of emergency in the hardest hit areas. Officials also are warning residents to be careful while cleaning up all the debris. It's because after Hurricane Isabel in 2003, more people were injured during the cleanup than during the storm.
How awful that would be to have to go through.
I know.
Crime tip via text message. We'll show you who's testing that next.
We'll also meet the National Teacher of the Year and, of course, You do not want to miss our exclusive interview with former President Jimmy Carter. Current events and his new book will complete our second half hour.
On the next Scrubs. Oh, Turk pops the question.
Be my best man.
Oh my God.
The ring, please. It's gotta be one of these. Yeah! Of course! Hell yeah, you will! Okay, let's test these babies out one more time.
But will JD be the right fit?
Where I grew up, they didn't allow two men to marry.
I grew up in the hood, you know.
And
there you gotta do things like
right.
test suits out.
Next Scrubs. Tonight at 11 Eastern.
Hello, I'm from Mobility Products, and I'm here to make you a promise. A power chair from Mobility Products could change your life, and I promise to do everything possible to help you get one at little or no cost.
Before I got my chair, I was actually confined. I needed help to do everything.
I have arthritis in my knees and in my back, and I couldn't walk that far.
We've helped hundreds of thousands of people. Now, we want to help you. We'll work with your doctor, your insurance company, and Medicare to help you get a brand new power chair at little or no cost.
One of our trained technicians will personally deliver your power chair and show you how easy it is to use.
Mobility Products power chairs turn around tight corners and move easily over uneven ground.
And here's a promise no other company can make. We promise if you qualify and your primary insurance denies your claim,
We'll let you keep your power chair free. That's right, absolutely free.
that's the Mobility Promise. And you won't hear it from any other company.
You have freedom. You just have your own freedom back. It's a godsend, a blessing. That's what I call it.
Even if someone's with me, I have the ability to go where I want to go and do what I want to do without waiting for somebody else.
I thank you, Mobility, for helping me get my life back.
Our specialists are standing by now to take your call.
The call is free and there's no obligation. I'll even send you this all-purpose grabber free if you qualify. That's right, free. So call Mobility Products now and get your freedom back.
I'm John Ward, owner of Mobility Products, and I stand behind everything you've just heard. We've been in business for over a decade because we keep our promises, and we'll keep our promise to you. So call now. It could change your life.
Call Mobility Products now at 1-800-972-2993. That's 1-800-972-2993.
About 1 hour from now, the Federal Reserve Board will announce whether it's cutting interest rates for the 7th time since last September. It's expected the Fed will reduce the rate another 1/4 of a point. It's widely expected to be the last cut for a while as the Fed tries to juggle boosting the slumping economy while holding off inflation. And former Governor Jim Thompson says Illinois may be able to buy and renovate Wrigley Field without using tax dollars. Thompson is the head of the Illinois Sports Facilities Authority. He says he'll present the new plan to the Cubs in the near future. Cubs President Crane Kenny tells the Tribune he's still interested in doing a deal with the state. The paper also says that Mark Cuban is expected to attend the Cubs-Brewers game at Wrigley today, and he's expressed interest in buying the Cubs as well. And the Cubs, Wrigley Field, the Chicago Tribune, and this television station all owned by the Tribune Company.
Natural gas prices could be going up for a lot of people. NICOR wants an overall increase of about $140 million in business and residential rates. That would add about $4.60 a month to the average residential bill if the ICC grants the rate increase. It's likely to take effect in the spring of next year. And the cost of electricity may be going up as well. The Illinois Commerce Commission has recommended that ComEd get a $269 million delivery rate increase. That comes out to about 6% more on electricity bills and about 2/3 of what the power company initially asked for. A final vote on the delivery charge hike is expected in September.
The number of cars being booted in Chicago during the first quarter of this year was up 13% over last year. More than 13,000 vehicles got the boot from January through March. City officials credit the increase on new high-tech cameras and computers equipped in city vans. Workers can now scan over 900 license plates an hour to see if cars are eligible for the boot.
Well, starting today, Champaign residents will have a new way to tip off police. The new program will allow people to text message anonymous crime tips. The tip first goes to a company in Canada where the texter's identity is stripped. It's then sent back to the U.S. where identifying information is stripped again. and then it's finally forwarded to law enforcement. Police are hoping this new plan will appeal to the younger, text-friendly generation.
Young people can text with both thumbs faster than most of us can text with both hands. And unfortunately, they're exposed to crime far more often than older adults.
Another benefit of the program, if police have further questions they want to ask, they can text the tipster back without knowing who the person actually is.
Well, she was courageous, spirited, and a huge influence on his life, as most mothers are. Still ahead, we sit down with former President Jimmy Carter to discuss his new book, written in honor of his mother, Lillian. It's a great book. And is it a great forecast? Well, we'll see. 52 degrees as we look live at the lakeshore right now. And Tom Skilling says, enjoy that sunshine while you can. His full forecast straight ahead.
Did you hear that?
It's our first night in the new house. Do you want me to check?
Okay.
I saw a guy trying to break in.
What?
The alarm. Scared him off.
Hello.
This is Andy from Brinks Home Security. Are you all right?
My husband saw someone try to break in.
I'm sending help right now.
Thank you.
Call 1-800-390-6120 now to blanket your home with protection from Brinks Home Security and install a personalized system for just $99. Inside, Brinks delivers peace of mind to you and your family with state-of-the-art sensors and detectors engineered to help protect and alert. This includes the Brinks Security Keypad, your link to the Brinks 24-hour award-winning monitoring center that can provide a fast response to both you and the authorities. Call now to get the $99 installation and a second keypad installed free. That's a $135 value. Plus, you could save up to 20% on your homeowner's insurance. Call 1-800-390-6120 now and get the system installed for just $99. Brinks Home Security, dedicated to rapid response and peace of mind 24 hours a day. Call now.
In this box is what I need to control my diabetes, to stay healthy, and get on with my life. It comes from Liberty Medical. And now, it's not only where I get my diabetes testing supplies, but it's where I get my prescription drugs as well. If you haven't called Liberty yet, call them today. See, if you're on Medicare, the cost of your diabetes testing supplies, as well as your prescription drugs, may be covered. Liberty takes care of all the paperwork with Medicare and sends the prescription forms directly to your doctor for approval. Then on your schedule, packs up this box and sends it right to your door with no charge for shipping. Call Liberty. They can help you live a better life.
Call now for your free meter. Plus, get a free diabetic cookbook when you join Liberty.
Call 1-800-810-6217. That's 1-800-810-6217.
So yeah, I'm not just about saving people money on car insurance. I also love supporting wildlife conservation. I'm teaming up with the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. That's why I'm here. I'm going to be making the rounds at a whole bunch of zoos. You have no idea I'm down here. You can't even hear me, can you? Oh, I think I pulled a muscle. Oh, it's probably in my neck.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
24 Saturday nights at 12:30 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News at Noon.
Okay, so I got a great idea. Hear me out on this.
Okay.
Shorter forecast, Micah Mateer weather, not Micah Mateer weather.
Oh, that's a great idea. Just kind of divide it into... Yeah. Now, what I will find out what the criteria are, but I think a temperature of at least 70 is a Micah Mateer.
You got it.
You know.
Yeah.
Not so much.
Yeah, it was not a Micah Mateer day yesterday. You know, 44 degrees. Isn't that amazing? That was the second day in the mid-40s. We've done that only 7 times at Midway Airport since records started there. Put 2 mid-40 degree days together so late in the season. And that was the coldest April 29th in 52 years around here. So this is rather historic stuff, but we're warming up now, and the good news is warmer, more seasonable weather's on the way. Those are little outer cumulus clouds up there, and we have kind of an interesting mix of fair weather clouds today as temperatures have broken above 50 degrees, not only at Midway, but at O'Hare, but in both places you see the southeast winds, and the effect of that is pretty evident down at the Cubby Bear, for instance, across from Wrigley Field, where it's 46 right now. It is cooler by the lake, and this comes off a night that produced some more frost in parts of the area. These are lows at the WeatherBug stations all across the Chicago metro area. A little warming by the water, but chilly out in the suburbs. but we've recovered pretty nicely. Morris is pressing on against 60 degrees now. So is Pontiac and Rensselaer, just a few degrees within striking distance of 60, and they'll hit it today. We kind of divided the warmest temperatures from the coolest in our network. 60 at Marseilles now, Kankakee at 59, while up at Carthage College near the lake at Kenosha, it's 41 and 46 at Glencoe right now, and more temperatures around the metro area. Here you see those little easterly winds. They're going to become predominantly southeast and pick up. As we look at the bright sunshine at Mount Prospect this morning, also here from Curie Metropolitan High School right here in the city. But look at the winds blowing. This is the air mass that's coming in tomorrow. We go down to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they'll get into the 80s today. And you see the trees blowing around. On the other hand, at Rapid City, Micah, imagine this. It was in the 80s yesterday. Whoa. They have a winter storm watch in effect where for heavy snow in western South Dakota back into Montana and Wyoming, actually. You see this storm coming together. We'll be on the warm side of it, as it turns out, just starting to get the moisture to flow north, and you can see the clouds forming. There'll be a lot more development of those clouds as the day goes on. Just a little high-level clouds right now. A lot of wind. All these blue areas are states under wind advisories, and now they've just upgraded the winter storm watch to winter storm warnings out there in South Dakota, Montana, parts of Wyoming as well. And the reason is this warm air flooding northward, finally going to bring us some real spring-like temperatures, contrast with the cold air diving down through the west. It's 52 here, but 73 at Kansas City at this hour, and that's where our air is coming from. Double-digit temperature increases all through the plains while the readings crash on the backside of the storm where the north winds are blowing. Boy, that puts that volatile atmosphere together where you have warm air next to cool air, and things begin to cook when that happens in the atmosphere. In Chicago, the southeast winds blow 10 and gusts to 20. 41% is the humidity, and the shoreline water temperature at 51. Low values of all the pollens except for and mold, except for tree pollen, which has been consistently high, and sunburn times are 27 and 81. Now look at the winds starting to develop. We'll focus on that storm. We already have 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so you see where we're going with this. We're going to have a lot of wind. This thing is a mammoth weather system. Look at the circulation. It dictates the weather across virtually all the United States in one way or another. And we get on the warm side of it. The model, you can see developing that squall line late Friday. We could have some severe weather later in the week as these 50-degree dew points. Watch the expansion in this two-day animation of that warm, humid, spring-like air that always feels so good. Well, that also will fuel the thunderstorms that are coming in, and we have some forecasts of some really heavy amounts of rain perhaps coming in through the center of the country. You see the lightest colors there represent the highest humidities. So here's our forecast. More clouds. See these little showers? That's lunchtime tomorrow from our RPM model. And these showers continue developing. It looks right now like Wisconsin, parts of Iowa, and so forth are getting set for the biggest rain. There's a huge weather system here. Look at the way this jet goes into an omega type configuration. Looks like the Greek alphabet letter omega. That keeps this thing moving slowly, and we're right on the edge of the jet by Friday evening when it's up in the mid or upper 70s. We have humidity in the air and a cold front coming in that could bring in those rotating thunderstorms that produce supercell tornadoes, or at least some damaging winds. So we got to watch that one and see how much warming we get on Friday. Right now it looks pretty nice, but the storms could be a negative factor. So sunshine and fair weather clouds today. Inland temperatures go up to 60 to 64, but if you're along the lake, you'll stay in the 50s because of the southeast winds at 6 to 17 miles an hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. 46 degrees with slowly strengthening southeast winds as we get into that storm circulation. Tomorrow, those winds go southerly over most of the metro area. You folks up in Waukegan, Zion, Kenosha, Racine, areas like that will have a wind off the lake, so it'll be a lot cooler up there. But we could get up to 75 at O'Hare and see several scattered showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but it won't be an all-day rain. And 77 degrees on Friday. Now, that is Micah Mater weather.
That is indeed. Yep.
But there are non-Micah Mater thunderstorms flashing in the graphic there. And that makes Micah very unhappy.
You see, it's a simple formula, but it works.
Exactly. Yeah, it does. You've got something there, Tom.
Thanks so much.
Okay, see you later, guys.
7-day in a bit. Well, Britain's Prince William made a surprise appearance in Afghanistan this week. The 25-year-old was serving as aircrew during a 30-hour round trip from England. He is a second lieutenant, or lieutenant, as they would say, in the British Army, receiving his pilot's wings earlier this this month. His younger brother, Harry, just ended his Afghanistan Army tour 2 months ago.
A science teacher from Prineville, Oregon is the new National Teacher of the Year. President Bush honored him with a ceremony in the Rose Garden today.
You know, good teachers hear a call. Good teachers are empathetic souls. And really, the best teachers have a special intuition. And I suspect a little potential. And so the ability to see potential and the ability to have the patience necessary to watch it grow.
Michael Geeson received the award for his work in making science fun. He writes songs and develops games for his students at Crook County Middle School. Geeson will spend the year traveling around the world as a spokesperson for the teaching profession. Good for him. Well, here's today's trivia question. Country group The Highwaymen included Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, and which other superstar?
Micah, I know this one.
You do it? You didn't cheat. The answer's still ahead of WGN News at Noon.
I've got to call somebody.
Diamonds, the jewelry exchange has thousands, most GIA or EGL certified at incredible prices. Quarter-carat solitaires are $149. 1-carat solitaires are just $5.99 per carat. 2 to 3 carats $9.90 per carat, and 1-carat studs are still $3.99. The Jewelry Exchange has a huge selection of large and fancy diamonds and certified GIA excellent diamonds, all guaranteed the lowest price. We have thousands of designer mountings and set your diamond while you watch. Buy factory direct and save. The Jewelry Exchange nationwide.
Choosing a healthcare plan can get pretty confusing. I knew exactly what I wanted, a plan that works for me. Is that too much to ask?
The AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plans, insured by United Healthcare Insurance Company, give you limited out-of-pocket costs and your choice of doctors and hospitals. That could help make choosing a plan easier. If you're turning 65 or older and enrolling in Medicare Parts A and B, you should know about this card. It's the one for the only Medicare supplement plans exclusively endorsed by AARP. It could help cover some of the 20% of costs not covered by Medicare Part B alone. Plus, certain plans help cover your deductible for hospital stays. And with limited out-of-pocket costs, you can better budget your money. By not paying out-of-pocket for most unexpected medical expenses, you could save thousands of dollars.
It's great. I can set a budget and find other ways to spend my money than on visits to the doctor's office.
Call today and learn more with this free information kit and Medicare guide. Once you're enrolled, a personal health insurance advisor can answer any questions.
You know, a real-life person.
There are no networks or referrals to see a specialist needed. You choose from any doctor or hospital that accepts Medicare.
That kind of choice is a good thing. And no matter where you go in the U.S., across town or across the country, your coverage travels with you.
There's a range of plans to fit your needs. And once you're accepted, you can rely on the fact that plan benefits will be the same as long as you keep the same plan. So call now for your free information kit and Medicare guide. Take a look at the health insurance option that millions of Americans have counted on for years. The AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plans.
This card has it all, which made it an easy choice for me.
Call now for your free information kit and Medicare guide. Learn more.
Funniest pets and people today at 6 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Welcome back, sports time, and here come the Hawks to WGN Radio. The Blackhawks and WGN management announced today that all home and away games next season will be broadcast on AM 720. For the past 8 years, the team's games broadcast on The Score. Earlier this month, the Blackhawks and the Tribune Company announced that a handful of Hawks games will be televised next season. Where else but right here on WGN TV. The weather better suited for hockey.
Definitely a chill.
Last night at Wrigley, Cubs and Brewers slugging it out. Cubs got 4 runs off Milwaukee ace Ben Sheets in the third. Derek Lee homers for the 8th time. Game's tied at 4 before the inning's ending, and Brewers go up in the 5th against Jason Marquis. In the 7th, Mike Cameron with a single off Michael Wirtz. 2-run score. Cameron coming off a 25-game suspension for the use of a banned substance, had 3 hits. Cubs lose 10-7 is the final. Well, guess who is on the cover of the new Sports Illustrated? None other than Kosuke Fukudome. Some guys don't like this honor because of the alleged SI jinx. Kosuke was asked about that. He said that is for people who've never been undercover.
A good answer.
Yeah, very good answer. Well, on to Hannah, who's having a great birthday. Happy birthday, Hannah. Her Twins beating the White Sox last night. 4th inning, Jason Kugel, 2-run homer off Gavin Floyd. He pitched okay, 6 innings, 3 runs. Sox just didn't drive any runs in. Except for Joe Creedy. His 7th home run last night, but the Sox still lose 3-1. They only had 7 hits. Well, his new book is a great one, folks. It is called A Remarkable Mother.
Up next, our exclusive interview with former President Jimmy Carter. We hear about his new book, his recent meeting with Hamas, and his thoughts on the presidential race.
America's Funniest Home Videos, tonight at 7 Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Hi, welcome to Progressive.com.
Honey, what's all this?
Insurance?
Progressive motorcycle insurance.
Yeah.
RV insurance?
Uh-huh.
Boat insurance. But we don't have any of those things.
Well, actually, I do. We do. We do. Surprise!
Let's bag these up. Saving you money so you can buy more toys. Now that's Progressive. Call or click today.
Sick and tired of being out of cash? Don't worry. Cash Call wants to get you the cash fast, without collateral, because we trust you. Just call 877-860-CASH. And remember, make sure you can afford the monthly payments before you borrow. Make the cash call at 877-860-CASH.
Corner Gas, tonight at 8 Eastern on Superstation WGN. Live from WGN TV Chicago, the official drawing of the Illinois Lottery.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Linda Kohlmeyer with your midday winning lottery numbers for Wednesday, April 30th, 2008. I wish you the best of luck. Let's begin with pick 3. The first lucky number is 3. Second number, 1. And your third and final pick 3 for today. 4. That makes the winning pick 3 numbers for today. 3, 1, and 4. Time for the pick 4 game. Hope you're enjoying this glorious, spectacular day. And you lend a helping hand. What a blessing. Here we go with pick 4. First lucky number is 2. The second number, 7. Your third lucky number, 7. And the fourth and final pick 4. 6. That makes the winning pick 4 numbers for today, 2776. Lotto is $6.5 million and Mega Million $100 million. Get yourself a ticket. I'm Linda Kohlmeyer. Have a great afternoon.
Today's lottery drawing was supervised by the accounting firm of Hill Taylor LLC and is brought to you by WGN TV.
You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News at Noon.
Well, from modest beginnings, as a member of a hard-working farm family in Georgia, he rose through the political ranks to become the 39th President of the United States. Jimmy Carter's known for his many achievements in domestic and world affairs during his time in office. After leaving office, he went on to win the Nobel Peace Prize.
And in his free time, he's managed to crank out several books. His latest, A Remarkable Mother. It's about his late mother, Bessie Lillian Gordy Carter, known around the world simply as Miss Lillian, America's first mama. Welcome, Mr. President. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm glad to be here again.
Nice to see you. Your mom was quite a pistol.
Well, she really was. Mama was indomitable. She didn't pay any attention to criticism. She did what she thought was right all her life. One of her crusades when I was a old boy and she was a young nurse was to do away with racial segregation in deep South Georgia, which was the biggest social challenge of the time.
But she was condemned for that, wasn't
Well,
she?
she was. She was ostracized by some of her neighbors and so forth who didn't understand my mama.
Right.
But she never gave up. And then, and when she was 70 years old, she was still working on that. She was in India in the Peace Corps.
Right.
And treating lepers and others in the most poverty-stricken part of India, near Bombay. And she was she was untouchable herself. She dealt with human fluids and things like that as a nurse. So she was kind of ostracized then.
But she wasn't with you a lot, you and your brother and sisters. How did that affect you guys?
Well, Mama started out as a as an operating room nurse.
Right.
And then she nursed patients in the hospital in Plains for 12 hours a day for $4. And then she saw that the black people in our neighborhood, we didn't have any white neighbors. We lived in an isolated area with just African-American neighbors. So she saw that they couldn't go to the hospital, couldn't afford it, so she went to their homes to nurse. And in those days, the standard pay for nursing in homes was $6 for 20 hours. And so they couldn't pay her except with pigs and chickens and eggs and so forth. But she would just come home at night about 10 o'clock and wash her nurse's uniform and take a shower bath and leave us instructions for the next day. And she would go back on duty at 2 o'clock in the morning. So she was just off 4 hours a day.
You would joke that there was a piece of furniture in the front room and that was your mama.
That's where she left our instructions for the next day, yeah. And my sister and I, Gloria and I, after I was president and we came home to live with Mama in Plains, we would tease her that we thought that desk was our mother for a long time.
You know, there's a great story in the book. There are many, but there's one great story in the book about the drive home from Schenectady to Georgia after your father passed.
Yeah,
and the conversation or lack of conversation you had with your wife.
My mother was a dominant personality. And Rosen, we had been in the Navy a long time. I was in the submarine force. And I never thought about getting out. And Rosen never thought about going back to Plains to be under my mother. So when my father died, I had an epiphany. I decided to get out of the Navy and told Rosa, and she was absolutely furious and heartbroken. And she never, it took a long time to forgive me. We drove all the way back from Schenectady to New York to Plains, 700 miles. We had 3 little boys. Rosa never spoke to me all the way home.
2 very strong and wonderful women.
Yeah, when she had to go to the restroom, she would say, "Jack, our older son, tell your father I need to stop at the restroom." But when we got home, they learned how to live with each other.
The decision that led
Sometimes I had to be mediator.
Yeah, the decision that led to so much more, though. You know, the decision that changed the course of your life, the course of the country.
I think so, in a way. I would never have been elected president had it not been for Rosen and my mother, because Mother and Rosen, in the late 75 and 76, when I was running for president, had no friends, no money. They were out campaigning 5 days a week for me, and Mother had such an evocative spirit, and she could attract a crowd, and so she brought a lot of attention and a lot of votes to me.
Well, we're going to come back in just a minute because we have lots more to talk to you about. We want to tell folks also you can meet former President Jimmy Carter tonight from 7 to 9 at Borders Books. That's at 830 North Michigan Avenue. We will be right back.
Very nice.
The Superstation is America's home for baseball. Jim Thome in Chicago look to go deep against Jays ace Roy Halladay. White Sox, Blue Jays, Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on the Superstation. It's great to be home.
I've lost 40 pounds on Jenny Craig, and I've reached my ideal size surfer girl. I can't believe I'm surfing again. Before Jenny, I just didn't think I could do it. But this is a program that I can stick to because I just love the food. So here I am. I may not be a size Gidget, but I am a size loving life.
Hey, Val.
Hey.
Jenny helped me get my life and my surfboard back.
Lose 20 pounds for $20, plus the cost of food. Call 1-800-JENNY20 today.
Have you called Jenny yet?
Have you or a loved one been hospitalized for Stevens-Johnson syndrome or toxic epidermal necrolysis? Then please listen. These dangerous and deadly skin conditions can be caused by prescription drugs like Dilantin, as well as over-the-counter drugs like Advil. If your SJS or TENS was caused by one of these drugs, you may be entitled to money damages, not just for your hospital bills, but for your pain and suffering as well. Call us now to see if your case qualifies.
Have you been diagnosed with nephrogenic systemic fibrosis, commonly called NSF? A dye used in MRI and MRA scans has been linked to this potentially fatal disorder. Symptoms of NSF include burning, itching skin, severe joint pain, muscle weakness, and blister-like lesions. Call our lawyers at 1-800-REAL-LAW if you've been diagnosed with NSF, nephrogenic systemic fibrosis. Call right now for a free evaluation of your claim.
When 3 pets are left behind,
something's really wrong. They've been gone way too long.
Wake up and smell the kibble. They dumped us.
They take fate into their own paws.
I'm going home.
Hey, guys, wait up. I'm coming.
And set out to find their family.
Home is just over that mountain.
Wow. I hope you know what you're doing.
Wow! Yes!
Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey.
Saturday at 3 on the Superstation.
You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News at Noon.
He's known as the president who brought peace to Israel and Egypt. Jimmy Carter still playing a role in foreign affairs long after leaving office. Speaking, thank you again for joining us today. Speaking with Hamas, you say you're not a negotiator but a communicator.
That's
right.
But
a lot of people are not happy with your meeting.
I've heard about
recent
that.
meeting.
A lot of people in this country.
Right.
But you know, that's an exaggeration too, because when I was ready to go to Israel, they had a poll all over Israel among the Israeli Jewish people, and it was published in on CNN and Washington Post, and 64% of all the Israeli people said that Israel should be negotiating directly with Hamas because they know the facts about Hamas. And the other night I was on Larry King, if you'll excuse my mentioning him, and I had a poll on CNN. Do you think Jimmy Carter did the right thing to go to visit with Hamas? 70% said yes. So American people and Israeli people agree.
So is that why you keep doing it? Because is that why you keep doing it? Because the American people want you to? Or?
No. It's because there's no way to bring peace to Israel, which I've been trying to do for 32 years, without having the Palestinians in favor of it. And I went over to induce Hamas to approve the peace talks that are now going on under their opponent. In Palestinian politics, and they agreed to do so. And they authorized me to reveal to the Israeli people that they approve the negotiations that are going on now between the Palestinians and the Israelis. If they reach an agreement and submit it to the Palestinian people in a referendum, Hamas will accept it, even though they disagree. They agreed to accept Israel's right to exist and to live in peace.
You said in the break that you don't really pay much mind to criticism, and you know, George Bush said that he wouldn't, that you shouldn't. Barack Obama said he wouldn't. You don't care.
Well, I think yesterday George Bush said he wouldn't, but he thought that I had a right to speak to whom I chose. Sure. And I think that was a very reasonable thing to say. But I was never warned or asked not to go by anybody in the U.S. government. That was a mistake that was promulgated. Nobody ever said that. The only thing they said was it might be dangerous to go to Gaza, and I didn't go to Gaza.
So much else going on politically in this country we want to ask you about.
Just a little bit.
So much else. You're a super delegate.
Yeah, I am.
And you have not said who you will support, but you keep dropping hints, or making mention of, I should say, a senator from here in Chicago.
Well, I'm not going to say who I'm for, definitely, until after June the 3rd.
Place to do it.
After June the 3rd. But I have said that all of my children and all of my grandchildren and all of their spouses are for Obama.
And most of Plains.
And Plains voted for Obama. Georgia voted for Obama. And I'm going to reserve the right to make my decision after June the 3rd.
He's taking a lot of heat now. Jeremiah Wright, talk of the town, can't turn on every news station. That's what he's talking about. Should Jeremiah Wright have kept silent, or should he have come out now, or is he hurting Obama?
He should have kept silent. I used to think Jeremiah Wright was a very intelligent person, but either he doesn't understand politics or he deliberately decided to hurt Obama with what he kept on saying. Yeah, I'm not saying it's deliberate. I said he either didn't understand politics,
a lot of people are saying that, though.
But he hurt Obama, and I think I was really glad to see Obama finally yesterday separate himself from Jeremiah Wright. They're not connected at all, except he attended Jeremiah Wright's church. I've heard some things in my pulpit in my little church with which I didn't agree, and particularly in the African-American churches in Plains, which are by far the largest churches in town. Sometimes I've heard sermons in those pulpits that kind of made me think twice, but I didn't get up and walk out.
It's a place where they can vent. That's where they come and vent to that audience, that particular audience.
Particularly those of Wright's age that grew up during segregation years, when white Christians were perpetrating the most harsh and criminal discrimination against their neighbors that our country has seen in the last 100 years.
Bottom line, the damage may be done there. I mean, whether or not voters should judge a person by his associations.
I think it's transient. I think it's going to pass away.
Do you?
Yeah.
You also don't think we'll see the so-called dream ticket. You spoke earlier in the week.
I think that would be the most unlikely thing I can dream of in the Democratic Party. I don't see how Obama could choose Hillary and help himself, or vice versa. And so I think that they will reach out and get someone that's somewhat different from them. In fact, if Obama should get the nomination, nobody knows yet, I would recommend Senator Sam Nunn from Georgia, who has a sterling reputation in foreign affairs and also in defense matters. I think it would add some substantiality to it. It'd add a different part of the country to it. I think that would be a good balance.
With all of this focus on Jeremiah Wright and the like, is this giving McCain a chance to just go on and kind of ease through things right now? Or?
Right now. But I don't have any doubt at all that after the nominee is chosen, that the loser will support the nominee, and the overwhelming portion of the loser's supporters will also be in favor of a nominee. They won't vote for McCain. The only caveat to that is I think a lot of the newcomers to politics that have been attracted by Obama may stay home.
I've heard
a lot
that
of African-American voters and a lot of very young voters that never have been involved in politics, they might stay home, but they're not going to go out and vote for McCain.
Hey, what about you? You ever going to go home to Plains and just rest? You're picking up a hammer again soon?
I'm looking forward to it, yeah. Next week, we're going to be going to the Katrina damaged area, to Mississippi and to New Orleans. And we'll be building, my wife and I will be building homes for the 25th year for a full week.
Fantastic.
We build about 100, sometimes 200 homes in 1 week, and that's what we're going to be doing.
Are you working on your next book already?
I'm thinking about it.
Uh-oh. You want to tell us what it's about or no?
Well, it may be about the Middle East again, because I want to write a book that might come out when the new president's taken office to make sure that they don't wait until the last few months of their administration before they start bringing peace to Israel.
We should mention that this book mentions that there is more about Miss Lillian coming out, a collection of letters she wrote home from India during her time in the Peace Corps.
Exactly. Simon & Schuster has republished that book that came out, I think, in 1978, and it's a good book to buy. In fact, I quote from a lot, not very many. I kind of skipped over those letters when I heard that Simon & Schuster was going to do that, but a lot of what she had to say in the Peace Corps is in that book.
Well, it's a wonderful book.
It's a good for Mother's Day gift.
Yes, it is.
Good plug. And thank you so much for coming in and sharing some time with us today.
I'd like to come back someday.
Well, come back anytime.
Is that a promise?
I like that.
Okay, goody. We'd love to have you back.
Soon. And you can see the president this evening. Here's information about the book signing tonight. 7 to 9 p.m., Borders Books on Michigan Avenue. More information and this interview at WGNTV.com/lunchbreak.
What can you buy with $5? A burger? A pack of cigarettes? How about health insurance? That's right, health insurance. If you have no health insurance or are responsible for paying for your own, Synergy Health has the coverage you've been looking for. Best of all, you may already qualify, regardless of most pre-existing conditions. For a little more than $5 a day and $10 a day for your whole family, you can have real health insurance. Synergy Health Preferred covers doctors, hospitals, accidents, pregnancy, labs, diagnostics, and more. This insurance plan even covers surgery with no annual limits or deductibles. And unlike other health plans, with the Synergy Health Preferred plan, you're free to choose your own doctors and hospitals. If you enroll today, you'll get our prescription and dental plans at no additional cost. $5 a day buys you peace of mind, so don't wait another day.
Call 1-800-398-5007. That's 1-800-398-5007.
A short time ago, this woman was limited by her mobility. A month ago, this man wasn't even able to get around his house. These are people who chose mobility, and they chose the scooter store. If you're living with limited mobility, call the scooter store today. I guarantee no other company will work hard to make you mobile. If we pre-qualify you for a new scooter or power chair and Medicare denies your claim, the scooter store allows you to keep your scooter or power chair at no cost. That's the scooter store guarantee.
I expected they'd help me file some paperwork with Medicare and my insurance. I never expected them to be so nice or to work so hard to get me a power chair at no cost to me.
You don't qualify for Medicare? No problem. We'll work with your insurance company, even help with financing. If there's a way, we'll find it.
Call the scooter store for free information today.
Call 1-800-313-5960 for free information. That number again is 1-800-313-5960.
Preston Waters just took 3 crooks for $1 million. Now he's having $1 million worth of fun, teaching them that crime doesn't pay.
That must have hurt.
Blank check.
Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Superstation WGN.
Good afternoon, everybody. All eyes really on Washington, and the anticipation right here is growing as we draw closer to 1:15 Central Time. That's when Fed policymakers are forecast to cut their benchmark interest rate again to limit the economy's decline here. Now, this is going to be a very, very widely watched decision, especially after we've seen this deterioration in housing, employment, and consumer purchases, really prompting Fed Chairman Bernanke this month to concede for the first time a recession here is possible. Now, as for stocks right now, stocks are higher. ahead of the decision on better than forecast economic growth data. Live at the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Michelle Steele, Bloomberg News. Back to you guys in Chicago.
Thank you, Michelle. Let's answer today's trivia question. Country group The Highwaymen included Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash, and which other superstar? The answer, Tom?
You were always
Willie Nelson.
I like
He turned 75 today.
Mom likes that song.
Happy birthday, Willie.
That's great. You realize I'm sitting in the same seat that President Carter sat in.
He said the same thing about you when he sat down.
No, I'll tell you that what a genuinely nice man.
Very nice
I'll tell you something. Well, I'm glad we have some nice weather for the president too, and for all of us. We need to warm up. Look at the warmth out to the west of us. We're at 52 right now. All the orange there is an area which is warmer than it was yesterday. Yesterday we had a high of 44, so we're already above that, as you can see. And look at the highs tomorrow. Micah, feast your eyes on that. 70s, and that 72. We think 75 might even occur tomorrow with a lot of sunshine, but you see the clouds gathering out to the west. There's a storm developing. Look at the winds here and the way they turn more subtly. Now, they slice in off the lake today and will up in Waukegan tomorrow and areas north. But the rest of the area shoots from 60 today to 75 tomorrow and 77 Friday. A few widely scattered showers or thunderstorms tomorrow. Better chance of storms, particularly Friday. In the latter portion of the day, they maybe grow severe, and some showers Saturday, but Sunday's beautiful and cool, and it warms again after that.
Good, Tom. We're happy you shared time with us this afternoon.
So very happy. See you tonight at 9. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Bye-bye.
When a terrorist escapes, his deadly new target becomes clear.
We're going to take out downtown Los Angeles.
Next 24, Saturday at 12:30 a.m. Eastern.
Next on Matlock, Katie?
I'm the new assistant DA.
I had no idea that she was going to wind up coming after me like this.
We've made an arrest. I've got to get a conviction.
Digging into my business affairs.
I've established a motive and placed your client at the scene of the crime.
I wouldn't get my hopes up, though. Making me look like a crook. You mess with any evidence or make another misstep in this case, I'll have a mistrial in a heartbeat.
You injured your back because Jack Houston committed fraud.
That's a lie! You're making this up to get even with me for breaking up with her.
Today, we're observing the Geico Gecko, an extraordinary creature with a most curious adaptation. The ability to save people hundreds of dollars on their car insurance. Let's watch.
That's odd.
Whoa. Fascinating.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is the AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance Plan card. You know what's great about this card? Wherever you go, nationwide, your coverage travels with you. And that's just one of the many reasons you need the card you can trust. Because with AARP Medicare Supplement Insurance, you get things like a full range of plans, the ability to apply year-round, personal health insurance advisors to help you make the best decision, and so much more. If you're turning 65 or older, or you've already enrolled in a Medicare supplement plan, call now for this free information kit and Medicare guide to help you navigate today's complex health care environment.